Severe weather is back, both today and tomorrow. Let's break it up right now. So first of all, today we have a marginal risk of severe weather. That includes southern Oklahoma, central Oklahoma, going into northern Oklahoma. So that includes the areas like Woodward, the eastern side of Tulsa, the western side of Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Norman, Fort Sill, and just basically anywhere in southwestern Oklahoma, central or northwestern Oklahoma. So let's look at our other outlooks we have. So I am happy to say that we have no risk of tornadoes, but just hold on. That might change because we still have multiple hours when this is being recorded and probably posted until this event starts. So it has a chance that the Storm Prediction Center upgrades this to maybe a 2% or even rarely a 5% risk of tornadoes. So just hold off on the think of no tornado warnings possible. But there is a 5% chance for damaging winds. That does not include areas like Woodward, like the main marginal risk is. That includes all of Oklahoma City, all of Norman, all of Fort Sill. So basically central southwestern Oklahoma, and extreme the extreme southern part of northern Oklahoma. So next is the hail outlook. Let's take a look. And finally, our hail outlook for today. So that includes Woodward, Oklahoma City, Norman, Fort Sill, and the eastern side of Tulsa again. This is also a 5% chance. So I'd say this is probably if you're in Woodward, this is your biggest chance. This is the most concerning threat for tonight, because they're not in the wind or the tornado outlook. That the tornado outlook doesn't exist anyway. So this is probably one of our most concerning threats. You're probably going to see storms that are producing maybe quarter-size hail, maybe a little bit of 60 miles an hour wind gusts. But now let's jump to the models for tonight. So first of all, let's start with the GFS let's start with the HRR outlook. So it shows around 8 p.m. or 7 p.m., light rain starts moving into the Panhandle, but the real stuff starts around 10 p.m. in western Oklahoma. So that's areas like Woodward, area going all the way up into Watonga, Sayre. But we could see little pockets of severe weather coming into Oklahoma City. But then around 12 a.m., that's when it becomes a line, a bit of a broken up line that goes across Alva, Fairview, Watonga, going into Perry, Sayre, going all the way down into Frederick, but then around 2 a.m. it closes in on Oklahoma City, and it weakens around 4 a.m. So, but then look at this. We have a little pop-up, possibly a severe thunderstorm around 4 a.m. down here in Sayre. Now, we're not going to be tracking this whole thing tonight, but you might see brief little updates throughout the late night, but not the morning. I'm not going to be doing the post at like 2 a.m. Now, let's jump to the GFS model. Kidding, I guess let's jump to the non-3K model. Alright, so the non-3K model is a little bit different. Non-3KM. It shows the storm should start being severe in Oklahoma around 10 p.m., but then fully you'll be all in Oklahoma around 11. And it looks like it's going to break out of line just before it reaches Oklahoma City. But then this little pop-up from Texas comes in and punches Oklahoma City as it forms a line. And then later it becomes a possibly damaging wind threat, and maybe isolated hail, and maybe a little bit of a flooding threat across southeastern Oklahoma around 5 p.m. tomorrow. Oh, that's tomorrow. Okay, let's not go into tomorrow. Anyway, speaking of tomorrow, let's look at the another chance of severe weather tomorrow. So let's take a little look. Alright, so now we have tomorrow, where there is a marginal risk of severe weather. It's very small for Oklahoma. A lot of it's for Texas, Louisiana, going to Mississippi. But we have some of it. And it's literally, and as far as we can see, it's just Fort Sill. So southern Oklahoma, and extreme central Oklahoma. That's our main risk, but also we have a general thunderstorm risk that goes all the way through Amarillo, and that's in Texas, Woodward, Tulsa, Oklahoma City, Norman. So now let's look at the other threats for this storm. This storm tomorrow. So just like today, tomorrow has no tornado threat, but just like I said for today, tomorrow is still a day away. We have a day for the Storm Prediction Center to issue a 2% chance of tornadoes, possibly for Fort Sill or maybe even Oklahoma City if they expand the marginal risk. So you need to still watch out. While there's no tornado threat now, you still need to watch out for a possible tornado threat to be issued for you. Now let's jump to the damaging wind outlook. Alright, so for damaging wind outlook for tomorrow, there's a 5% chance for tornadoes, for damaging winds. That includes basically the same areas that the marginal risk is for. So Fort Sill, extreme south central Oklahoma. So if you're in these areas, prepared for possibly damaging winds tomorrow and tonight too. So now let's jump to the hail risk. And next we have a 5% chance of damaging hail that includes literally the same area as the marginal risk. So if you're in Fort Sill or extreme southern Norman, I think, possibly, prepare for possible damaging hail up to quarter size and maybe even $half size. It's somewhere tomorrow. So now let's jump into the GFS model for tomorrow. Alright, so this is 12 a.m. tomorrow on the GFS model. We're going to look at the non-3KM model too, because that also shows quite a bit of tomorrow. So this is right from today's storm's right when they're gonna be ending, but then it's gonna re-explode around 9 a.m. tomorrow to the west of Oklahoma City, to the east of Oklahoma City and to the east of Tulsa. So that's gonna be right. So that's gonna it's gonna be right over Tahlequah. Isn't that the town that I kept having trouble pronouncing? And Wagoner. But they put the severe weather outlook down here, so there's clearly going to be something going on down here. For Fort Sill, is, I don't even know where Fort Sill is over here, to be honest. But anywhere in eastern to southern Oklahoma is going to be experiencing severe weather tomorrow. Possibly. But then it will weaken off around, well, actually, it'll stay its strength as it leaves Oklahoma around 9 p.m. So 9 a.m. to 9 p.m., basically. So now let's jump to the NOM3K model. So this is the NOM3KM model. It says that tomorrow around 10 a.m. storms will initiate in east central Oklahoma. So that's right over Shawnee, Purcell, Holdenville, to the east of Oklahoma City, Norman, Edmond, to the west of Okmulgee. But then it's gonna form a line. But then it would be a brief little line, but around 4 p.m. it'll just become a gigantic blob across southeastern Oklahoma. So near McAllister, Hartshorne, Holdenville, Atoka, Antlers, and little pop-ups will be there. And then finally around the morning of Sunday, they will be weakened off. That is all the information I have for you now, but make sure to follow us on Twitter at SWS Storm Warn for information for warnings being issued. and more ahead of time, just weather information out of videos. Goodbye. Stay safe, Stormborn.